All right, y'all, welcome to the show. So what do I got for you today? Well, I'm about to show you the lengths that U.S. politicians are going to in order to defend Israel, and it is incredible. So it's a Lindsey Graham video. You're going to see that in just a minute. Then, Lord help us, I actually have two separate Dave Rubin segments in this show. Yes, I am also ashamed of this fact. Later on, we will get to Joe Biden releasing an ad where he's basically begging Nikki Haley supporters, like, no, please, pick me, I'm better than Trump, please. I got a lot to say about that one. And then Trump's Easter Day meltdown, his 71 post rage, some of the stuff he said is like, at this point, our skin is so thick when it comes to Trump that like nothing lands, but god damn it, if you actually pay attention to what's going on with him, it's pretty disturbing. And then later on, we have some conservative outlets calling for Trump 2028. So they want to abolish the 22nd Amendment. And Richard Dawkins, the world's leading atheist, said some pretty questionable things about what he fancies himself. I believe cultural Christian was the terminology, so we'll dive into that as well. All right, everybody, please subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively, costs you nothing, and let's dive into it. So Lindsey Graham met with Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'm going to let him speak for himself here, but like the extent to which the strategy is like, no, I can't see anything. Palestinians are fine. Israel's moral. Like that is literally where they're at now. So watch this. This is incredible.
I'm here also to take on, and I will talk about this tomorrow, a form of blood libel in 2024. That the state of Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war. That is bullshit. And I will tomorrow walk through the food that's coming into Gaza and what you're doing to make sure that people in Gaza do not starve. So Israel is got its back against the wall. We have your back.
Imagine being Netanyahu in this conversation where you hear him say, it's bullshit that Israel is starving Gaza. And he's standing there like, like, bitch, of course we're starving Gaza. So he says it's blood libel to say Israel is starving Gaza. What do we have here? Oh, Human Rights Watch. Israel, starvation used as a weapon of war. Evidence indicates civilians deliberately denied access to food and water. We covered an article at this time months ago, which detailed that Israel was blocking over 70% of the aid from getting into Gaza. So in other words, right at the border in Egypt, there's lines as far as the eye can see, hundreds of aid trucks that are waiting to get in. What happens? The IDF takes all of the goods off of every single truck. If they find one thing they don't like, they turn the entire truck around. So even if it's 95% food and 5% tents, they say the pipes that are used to build this tent could be used to make a bomb theoretically, so you got to have to turn the whole thing around. The International Court of Justice also said you're blocking the food. You got to allow in all the aid. Then Israel didn't listen to them, and just this week, the ICJ again comes out and says, you have to allow in all the aid. We have confirmed reports of old people and young people starving to death. We have confirmed reports of people with kidney disease, 20 of them dead because of the lack of nutrition. They can't get enough food to eat. That's leading for them to die. Of course, the old and the young and the people with pre-existing conditions are the first to go in a famine and starvation scenario. That's what we're witnessing. It's not just Human Rights Watch. It's every human rights group you can imagine. It's the UN. It's the ICJ, which is part of the UN. Is Lindsey Graham's claim that all of these different international human rights institutions are all just blind, nefarious anti-Semites? Is that his claim? What am I supposed to do with people like this, man? I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do with people like this. To just deny all of the evidence. It doesn't matter that 7 different human rights organizations are saying the same thing. By the way, it doesn't matter that Joe Biden and the U.S. government and the Israeli government, and for a time a number of our allies, there were accusations that the UNRWA, which is the branch of the UN that helps Palestinians, There were accusations. Some of them are Hamas. 12 of them out of thousands are Hamas. What happened? Immediately, all of the U.S. aid and money was cut off to that group. All the Israeli aid money cut off. A lot of our allies cut it off. Guess what? It came out that was a totally bogus charge. No evidence whatsoever. It was a tactic of war. And we still turned around and said, that's all right, we're just going to keep not funding the UNRWA. So our own official stated position is no money, no food for the UNRWA. We're cutting that off. And Lindsey Graham goes out there and says, they're not using starvation as a weapon of war. We literally have a policy of no food, no water. No food, no aid anymore to the UNRWA, which is the number one group on the ground actually doing the hard work. That is our policy. He supports that policy. He supports the policy of don't send money, don't send food, don't send aid. And then he goes, they're not blocking the aid. What are we doing here? Look, I keep telling you guys this. I was naive. I was naive in the sense that I felt like no matter how much somebody disagreed with me politically, at the end of the day, when you get down to the brass tacks, everybody agrees. Genocide is bad. Starving an entire population of people, that's bad. That's bad. Turns out, no. Turns out there are plenty of people who are like, yay, starvation, yay, genocide. And there's plenty of people who can look at endless mountains of evidence of purposefully targeting civilians, killing children, bombing hospitals, bombing mosques and churches and civilian infrastructure, starving people. Then they turn around and they go, no, that's actually happening. That's not, no, it's not true. Again, I'm at the point where I don't know what good it does to engage with anybody like this if they can't accept the basic facts of the conversation. If we establish the facts and then disagree on our interpretation and where to go from there, that's one thing. That's fine. That's called having different perspectives. It's a whole other thing. If you have every human rights organization in the world, every international law body, every independent observer, every media outlet, all saying the same thing, then Lindsey Graham's like, that's not happening. In fact, you're anti-Semitic for stating the fact that Israel is starving Palestinians. And by the way, you heard him say, I will prove tomorrow that this is indeed not happening. Oh, will you? We all know what's going to happen. What's he going to do? He's going to go through a list of all the aid that was marked as this is for Gaza. Go through all that and say, look at the amount of food. This is enough to feed everybody. Crunch the numbers. It works out. What he won't tell you is that over 70% of that aid is being blocked on purpose. That's what he won't tell you. So he will fudge the facts to make it look like everything's great, bro. Everything's great. War criminals. I mean, look, they're just all war criminals. I don't know what else to say. They should all be fucking locked up. That's where I'm at. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.